Yeah, you can see it there. That's not very far outside of Annapolis either. Well, this is kind of a different little video, not following the normal, I guess, format, but it's a little bit early. It's 6:30 a.m. July 16th, and well, I did my early morning. We've been staying at our cottage, so I had to come home early. So I came home early and let the garbage and everything out, and got an alert on our phone that in between Annapolis and our cottage, there's a out of control wildfire, and it's on West Stoney Lake, or surrounding that, in the vicinity of West Stoney Lake and Lambs Lake, which would be the Mickey Hill Provincial Park, where I've made videos walking the dogs different times through the winter and in the spring, and it's one of our favorite little spots to go, because it's got a couple little beaches where the dogs can actually swim and whatnot. And from what I've understood, the fire currently is on the upper plains in the higher elevation, which would be the West Stoney Lake. So it'll have to work or have some wind to aid it to get to the lower, elevations, which would be like the Lambs Lake. But if the wind works with it, it's going to be quite bad, because I think it can eat up across towards West Dalhousie, kind of unobstructed somewhat, until it gets over around like Perrott area, like further to the east. You're gonna it'll start running into homes and stuff. So hopefully we can get some headway, but I'm kind of just nervously gonna make my way back out to the cabin. I thought I'd throw the camera on, honestly, because I don't know what to expect. I drove through there a few hours ago. It was dark. I didn't see flames or any indication of like a fire, but from the videos that I've seen and stuff since I've been home and left, like the Valley Eye Photography, he kind of keeps up with a lot of the weather systems and fires or accidents and stuff in the valley, and he took a picture and video from Annapolis, just on the other side of Annapolis Royal, similar to where this video started, and you could see the flames and everything on the tops of the trees, pretty clear. But this morning when I was coming, I passed it. I was on lower elevation, and in all honesty, I didn't even look over that direction. It was dark. I was looking at the road, because there's been lots of deer, lots of bear. There's been lots of wildlife kind of coming to life these last few weeks, coming out and roaming around, and you know, the height of summer, stuff's out in the middle of the night rather than the day. So I was a little bit more vigilant towards watching the road, not so much looking to see what was going off in the woods. But on the way down, all the way to kind of what prompted me to put the camera on top, was just, I don't know what, you know, it's not that far from the road way out here, and I guess my biggest concern, I think, is just letting my wife be aware of it, aware of the situation. We'll make her decision. We'll watch the updates and everything, and figure out whether we need to pack up and get out of there. Because my biggest concern is, other than for us to get home, if the fire gets further out of control and was to encroach on the Route 8, which is the roadway that it's closest to, which is the public road that goes from Annapolis Royal out to Liverpool, and goes past Kedgie. So anybody that's ever come from Annapolis out towards Kedgie way, it's bordering right onto the roadway that you've taken. But it would also force us, in order to get back home, we would have to go quite a lot longer distance. We'd have to go down through Bear River and then kind of cut back around towards Annapolis and try to work our way back up the valley towards home. So we might just be packing up and leaving today and kind of getting things in order for the cabin in case anything. I mean, this is just the beginning of, like, our fire season's been active for a little while, but in this last week there was another fire at West Alhazy way. There was one down in this similar location. There's been 4 fires up the valley, further up the province. There's been fires all over this province because there's been lightning strikes taking place in the early morning and through the night. There's been big lightning storms and activity going up through, some up through on the Bay of Fundy coast, and others have been going kind of right up the spine of the province, which would be right out here in Milford, kind of from Digby up. The province kind of, think of it like an arching back. It slowly kind of comes up from sea level, and then the further up into the province towards Wolfville, towards the valley, like, you start getting the north and south mountains that make the valley, and it kind of rides the ridges of those mountains, the north or the south, and like, you'll get the lightning strikes going up on the Bay of Fundy side, going up on the northbound, and like we have here these last couple of days, was these lightning strikes and these early morning storms going up the south side of the South Mountain Ridge. But the worst of it is it's not that inhabited out through here. There's small communities on, like, out through Perrott, which the road kind of comes to a dead end. And then you got other spots like up through West Alhazy where, I mean, it's just small little communities. So when these lightning strike fires occur, and then we had, like, yesterday was a beautiful day, sun shone, and it was a pretty good breeze. And I think everybody is on the same boat that we probably had a lightning strike early in the morning, that breeze all day, and it picked up throughout the afternoon and kind of swung around. So it was more than likely able to kind of keep the embers, or keep the lightning strike alive. Once it had struck a tree or a brush or whatever, it kind of kept those embers going. And after, the wind swings around and whatnot, you're kind of getting these, I think that's when it builds, like when the wind kind of switches from like a south to a southeast or to a northwest. Like, it gives that chance for those coals to start burning on the other way, and then I think that's when you get that's the moment you get the poof. Like, you think ever trying to build your own campfire, like, you give it you get everything, it's kind of smoking, whatever, like a couple little huffs, but it's always like from one direction and then another. Like, it's like kind of reintroduction of that oxygen into that. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. I tend to do that, but can't get, like, it's the same as when I was going out through here this morning. There's no sense of the smoke here, because I think it's being, ooh, okay. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's not fair. When I came through here this morning, there was pink tape on these trees. And I wondered what that was for. And now I know. Oh my. That is not very far from Annapolis. That is not very far from the highway, the main highway. And I'm going to show you, it's not very far from the Mickey Hill Provincial Park.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to keep on going, that I wasn't going to be, I didn't know, you know. I didn't want to get too far and then, what am I saying? I didn't want to drive through and them be trying to turn me around or something, because I don't know. Like I say, once you get out past here, if anything goes, I think we're all right, because you can't see nothing immediately, you know. But I think we're gonna have to just we're gonna have to keep on top of this information coming out of here. But yeah, I'll show you the vicinity to what's kind of, it's a little provincial park. So adjacent to us right here, off our left, that's where the fire, I believe, is. And they've got, there's a few little points, I think, where they can get in and access to it. But geez, this is, depending on what the wind does, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the thing for the day. But they haven't really, so to speak, touched it yet. I think that was the beginning of the efforts, because normally they don't start attacking the stuff until, I think it's 7 a.m. In the twilight and nighttime, they don't attack the fires because it's not safe. You don't know where the personnel is. They can't, there's no sight in the dark. So I think that's the whole logic for it, is kind of suppress it as much as they can. So to the left here, that's Mickey Hill Park, so you can see the vicinity to it. And the guys is all starting, they're getting their lines ready, their stuff ready. So I imagine in these next few hours, the information will start pumping out. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I don't think you really can overreact in a situation like this, as long as you just kind of keep, as long as you're being productive, try to keep your, I think I'm going to go back and try to get some stuff in order. Because frankly, the last few days, there's been so many little fires pop up all over the place. I'm starting to second guess how much stuff I want to have just left out at the cabin. I guess, what are you willing to lose? And although it is it's closer to Annapolis than it is to our cabin. It's the fact of not being able, it's not being, if stuff happens here and this route gets cut off, if there's evacuations that happen or something like that in these next little while, I don't want to have stuff out here sitting that I'd rather have peace of mind and not thinking that I have to come back here and grab this, that, the other thing or something like that, trying to be stupid. I think we'll start getting our ducks in a row today, so to speak. It's kind of scary these last couple of weeks. Like we've almost been living on edge because you know it's coming. There's been no change to the woods from last year to this year, as far as like underbrush or anything being taken out to make the woods safer. It's still as dry, if not drier, than it was last year. And there's probably there's more stuff, there's more down trees. It's just another year has added another compounded layer to the ability for Nova Scotia's forests to be a danger for wildfires. I'm not a fan of clear cutting or a lot of what's going to need to be done, and I'm not necessarily the most educated on the processes, but it's very obvious, and it's becoming very obvious, even more so something's got to be done with our forests. There's got to be a thinning. There's got to be something happening. And it's kind of a delicate balance to try to protect our forests, but try to protect our communities at the same time. What do you do? We're at a sad spot where I guess climate change and the beautiful nature of the Maritimes is kind of, we're butting heads right now, and it's not really pretty. I remember growing up around here, it was always 20, 22 degrees, 23 degrees. Very little, the summers were comfortable. It wasn't the stay inside, seek shelter, don't let the sun touch your skin because it's just going to burn you in 10 minutes. I think you've really got to put in some effort to kind of argue that the world isn't changing, that the climate isn't changing. Look at the tide book from 20 years ago and look at the maximum high tides of today compared to back then. The amount of water that flows in and out of the Bay of Fundy has increased substantially. And that's not because the mouth has gotten bigger. It's because of the amount of water in our oceans, the amount of, everything that's come off of the poles, all the ice flow melt, everything. We're seeing the effects of it. And we see the effects of it when you used to drive Nova Scotia and the lawns were beautiful green. Now you drive Nova Scotia and from the 11th of June till September 15th, or probably October. Because I know last year stuff was burnt for a while. Like, I didn't mow my lawn for at least 2.5 months last year. The year before that, I was fertilized, and you could see the change coming. Watering and fertilizing and this and that, keep stuff green, and then these last 2 years, it's just been, you almost feel guilty taking the water from the water table to put it on your yard to keep it green, or, just satisfy your own little things that you like. I never really thought of a day when, a possibility of a day that I was, and it just hit me. What would the drive out to the cabin look like or feel like if we had an event like what happened up in West Tallahassee and around other communities, like up and back, like the big fire in back Tantallon and stuff here a few years ago, like. The only thing that's changing it and stopping it is the efforts of a lot of local men that are putting their heart and their soul and their efforts on the line, and Mother Nature. If them two don't kind of meet in the middle, disaster is what the outcome is. I can't even think of what it would be. And I've never ever thought of a possibility of driving out through here and it all being gone. The amount of stuff that we take for granted in this life. I guess sometimes you just these is the reminders that Mother Nature gives us to maybe keep us in check. So I think I'm gonna head in, and I know it's a little bit early, but I think I'm gonna wake my wife up and let her know what's going on in towards Annapolis, and I think from there we'll figure out what our next moves are gonna be as to whether we want to kind of stay close to the phones and enjoy the rest of the day here while we can, or if we want to just pack it up and possibly be ahead of the storm or ahead of the chaos. I mean, nobody wants to get the alert and then be trying to get out of here and, going through traffic or creating more of a rush than needs to be. Like, I think for me, I just possibly just pack up and maybe go and call it a day, and at least not be another person that they have to account for on a head count or whatever, or another piece of property that they're worried as to did they all get out, or is everybody out? And it's just, you don't want to be in a bad situation, don't put yourself in one. So and I feel like that kind of right here might apply for me, and the dogs and my wife, we've got information early, or not early, but I'm up early, and yeah. So I think that's what we're gonna do. We'll go in, we'll figure it out, we'll reassess, and hopefully everything's great. Hopefully these firemen knock this thing down and it's not much more than just a flare up like most of the other lightning strikes have been. But I think in the event that it might be something different, hopefully we'll just kind of be ready and we'll act accordingly.